Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. This is Crazy Kitsune Gaming with another episode of the Garden Warfare 2. Well, I mean, it's not really a campaign walkthrough anymore because we've completed that. We've been to Infinity Time, fought an entire universe of gnomes for over an hour. We've handled nuclear weapons, we've helped out a ton of Leaf agents, we've even done escort missions. Oh, the escort missions, you better believe we did them. So, at this point in your Garden Warfare 2 experience, shall we say, you're probably wondering, well, what do I do next? Well, DaveBot 3001, but the 1 is silent, has probably told you to go to the multiplayer portal at this point. Now, I know what you're already thinking. Oh no, you're not telling me the rest of the game is PvP, right? Well, Obnoxious Ninetails is happy to report that no, you can actually play all of those missions in that portal solo. But before we do that, once you've completed Infinity Time, then you can actually look at your Infinity leaderboards and see how you've done against all of your friends. Wow, apparently I've done, like, the best of any friend that I have that's ever touched Infinity Time. That's, interesting. And yeah, there are other filters, like, apparently I've been absolutely crushed in the 2-player category, and I'm not even there for 3 and 4-player. And you can also change the filter to see how people have done worldwide. Dear God, so apparently the highest wave reached is 469. What a funny number. What a nice number of waves to have reached. Heh, exotic arrow. I could have sworn I've played with that guy at one point. But yeah, anyway, you can actually see all the different people that have played and how well they've done, so you can sort of aspire to be as great as them. Also, apparently as you go through all of the numbers of players, the waves they've reached has actually gone down. And I think that's because they spawn a disproportionate amount of enemies for how many players there are. So it's actually kind of a disadvantage to have more players if you're trying to go for the highest wave you can possibly reach. However, keep in mind that is 4 players at once getting all the rewards, and I think the more players you have, the more rewards you get in general. So keep that in mind. So yeah, let's go and head up to the multiplayer portal. Also, if you shoot that button, you can actually get a gnome here. Yeah, you thought I was done with that, huh? No, I got you one last time, didn't I? So yeah, let's head over and find that multiplayer portal. There it is. So basically when you start the game, you spawn here. So basically the portal is right over here. It's not that far. Also, I kind of need to stop saying basically when explaining basically anything. Basically, my fear is that it gets kind of annoying after a while. Now, should you want to do multiplayer, then you can actually select the region and the servers that you're on. By the way, this is a very new internet for me. I am used to having the ping be at least 10,000. Like, I was kind of surprised when I saw it show a white square instead of a red one. I didn't even know a white square was a thing. And apparently, Australia and Asia are unavailable. Oh, that's kind of sad. I kind of like playing on Australian servers. I don't even get, like, death threats over there or anything. That's, like, the best part of playing an Australian server. So, basically, we have multiplayer, private play, and solo play. Solo play is useless. There is no reason to play it instead of private play. Solo play means that you can't invite any friends over to join, and there's no difference between it and private play. So, really just go with private play, normally. Speaking of normal, we're going to be doing it on normal difficulty. Now, if you change the difficulty, you'll actually get more rewards. So we're going to be doing it on normal, so we actually get 0.25 more rewards. If you go to hard, then you get even more, and if you're crazy enough to play on crazy, oh, and believe me, the AI will crush you on crazy, then you get double the rewards. So, yeah, something to think about. So, there are definitely a lot of different modes you can choose here. You can play Gardens and Graveyards. Basically, this is a defensive mode where you'll need to be defending from waves upon waves of zombies. There is Team Vanquish. This is the bog standard mode. Every planter zombie vanquished counts as a point. Each revive removes that point from the team's score. First team to 50 points wins. That's what we're going to be playing today. And also to clarify, if you revive one of your teammates, then it removes that point for the kill from the enemy's score. Just to clarify that. Now, we also have the infinitely better version of it called Vanquish Confirmed. Collect crazy orbs from vanquished enemies to earn a point for your team. Deny the opposing team a point by collecting a fallen ally's crazy orb. And just like Team Vanquish, the first person to get 50 points wins. I prefer this one because Team Vanquish goes by in a flash, honestly, and I don't quite like it. This one has a bit more potatoes to it, if you know what I mean. Herbal Assault. So, this is like Gardens and Graveyards, except the rules are reversed. This is a situation where you're on the offensive side of the operation, and the plants are the one attacking zombie territory. So, honestly, a good little mode. Ooh, and then Gnome Bomb. Oh, it's only my favorite. It might actually be my favorite. Use the mighty power of the gnome to destroy all 3 of your opponent's tombstones or gardens. But first, you need to find the gnome. Suburban Nation. Players complete to raise tombstones and gardens and try to suburbanate the other team. Fireworks appear when suburbanating, because they're cool. So basically, this is a mode where you need to get 100 points, and as you get more of the checkpoints, like these little areas that you'll need to secure and capture from the enemy, then the amount of points that you're getting increases. So basically, it's sort of a kind of land grab situation where you're just gonna want to hold as much territory as you can for as long as you can. And yeah, that's all the modes. So today we're gonna be doing Team Vanquish. And you know what, just for simplicity's sake, we're gonna be going to familiar territory here on Boney Island. We're gonna be doing it on normal. That way, if you're playing, then you have a bit of an advantage if you go on easy. Now, just to be clear, on easy, then the enemies are somewhat nerfed. They don't have as much health as they normally would. Like, say, a foot soldier normally runs around with about 125 hit points. Going here means he'll only have about 100. Whereas if you go to normal, then they have their normal amounts of hit points, and they have the normal amounts of damage and ability recharge. Now, if you go on to hard, then they actually have just a couple more hit points. It's only like 5 or 10, depending on the enemy. They get some very mild damage bonuses, but they're still definitely damage bonuses. And they also have a slightly shorter ability recharge. And also on crazy difficulty, the AI will straight up always have about 25 more hit points than they usually would have, and their damage is through the roof. They also tend to be a bit more accurate in my experience, and yeah, they are absolute ability spammers. There is never a point where there is not a ZPG flying towards you. Now, I do have to say, with the private play, even on easy, the enemies are stronger than they are in the campaign. Just full-on warning you. So, like, at this point, every enemy you fight is going to be harder than they were in the campaign. That's just something to keep in mind for anything in the multiplayer portal. Whether it's PvP or just like what we're doing today. So, do keep that in mind. You are far more mortal, and you are already pretty dang vulnerable in the campaign. So, next is the team setup. So, basically, it will always default to Plants Attack and Zombie Invasion. These 2 team setups basically mean there is always going to be 2 of every single class. So, 2 pea shooters, 2 sunflowers, 2 cacti. And on the zombie invasion, they'll always have 2 scientists, 2 imps, 2 foot soldiers, it's kind of that's how they're doing it, basically. Now, there are a ton of different enemy teams you can go for, or even changing your own team. I know that I definitely prefer to bring along classic plants, because it means that you don't have to deal with Rose being in the team, which is always quite nice. And it means that you get more sunflowers, which is always a nice bonus. But yeah, at some point, I'm definitely gonna have to do a video on each of these teams. If you even want to make it harder on yourself, you can go with 7 plants. And it means you'll actually be going with half the team size that you usually would, which makes things so much harder. But for now, we're just going to start off nice and simple with the bog standard teams, and there's also a little thing called crazy settings. Now, as the game says, crazy settings are fun, but using them will reduce the amount of XP and coins earned. So like, say we go to low gravity, and then we just hit confirm. Instantly it brings us down to a quarter of the normal rewards we get. And it doesn't matter what difficulty you play it on. So if you're playing with crazy settings, you may as well go on easy. So yeah, do keep that in mind. So we're not going to be playing with any crazy settings today. I will do videos on each of those crazy settings though. But for now, we're just going to go into a bog standard game of Team Vanquish. Oh, and also, because I've now completed the main campaign, then I'm allowing myself to turn on character upgrades. Because at this point, if you don't have at least one character maxed out, then, like, what in the world were you doing? Are you just sitting in the back and letting the comrades that you get take care of it all? So, health upgrade. Kind of like this upgrade, it always gives you 10 more hit points, and quite often that can make a difference. And then I'll go with ammo upgrade, which for pea shooter gives him 2 more rounds, which is kind of valuable with a pea shooter. And then damage upgrade, which kind of just does what it says on the tin, although the damage upgrade works a little differently for each character. Do keep that in mind. Along with the ammo upgrade. So, like, say if you were to put the ammo upgrade on, like, a corn, he would get, like, 10 more shots, because each of his shots is a little less valuable than, like, a pea shooter's shot. So, yeah. I see no reason not to dive right in at this point. So yeah, Team Vanquish. It's basically... it's a bland flavor. Because it's very objectiveless, very pointless. Maybe I'll do a tier list video on all the different game modes. But I don't really like Team Vanquish. It feels rather directionless. Just get 50 kills. Like, no sort of requirements, no objective. Old-fashioned hamburgers. Vanquish those zombies. So yeah, Team Vanquish. That's what we're doing today. So then, let's get a grip. So as you can see, we are actually getting comrades, and teammates and allies, and they actually all have their own special little mini gamer tags. They're not actual players, but the game gives them gamer tags as if they were, and it's actually so funny sometimes. So, okay. Let's get this revive in the house. So, as you can see, the zombies currently have 7 points. I get the revive. Down to 6, where they belong. So, reviving is actually very valuable in this mode. Now, something to note about the multiplayer portal in general is when you die, see, usually in the campaign or the special ops missions, death would carry quite a heavy price, as you would need to use like a team retry or self-revive to actually get back in the fight. Here, the only cost is that you need to respawn, which means that that's time that you're not actively fighting and helping your team. Which means that that's time that the enemy is getting closer to winning. So, sadly, I've died there, and unless the sunflower gets me back up, or the spiked specialist, because the sunflower is dead. So if that cactus wasn't there to res me, I would have had to run all the way back into the fight, which is unpleasant. So, now that that's covered, let's go about winning. Also, keep in mind, enemies do actually have extra abilities here, they don't actually use their full arsenal in the campaign. So just watch out for that, because Engineer, he actually has this Bolt Blaster ability that makes him very impervious to damage and deals out a lot of damage at the same time. There's also Scientist, who has the ability to warp around at any moment, and that actually sucks when Scientist deals so much melee damage. Okay, we are about halfway to victory. Let's not shag this all up, shall we? Oh, Super Brains. Oh, how I hate you. Get out of my face. Just get out of my shooting game. This isn't like a melee brawling game. So we shouldn't have melee brawling characters in it. Ooh, got rid of a mech. That's what we like to see. Oh, yeah. The AI actually tends to be pretty decent with teamwork in this mode. Oh, yeah, like a good old group of twin scientists. Yeah, kind of like with Sunflower, if you get two scientists side by side, they can just heal each other the entire fight. Except it's so much worse with scientists because they also have the capacity to quite quickly eradicate you. Oh, that's a lot of zombies. Oh, they've got a lot of firepower in there. That's not good, and I've already used my Gatling. Put the win on the plate. 10 more to go. Alright. Bit difficult when... Oh, yeah, he tried to use his Bolt Blaster. I was gonna say, bit difficult to finish out the match when they're forming up a massive block like that, but it appears we have prevailed. Hello, Engineer. You are the chosen one. And apparently I got the Vanquish Master Boast. Which, yeah, Boast. That is something specific to the multiplayer portal, is when you've finished out these missions, then you'll actually get a Boast depending on what you were best at. Apparently in that match, I was best at killing the most enemies, and I got the most kills in a row without dying. So yeah, pretty cool. And yeah, they even give you a nice little scoreboard and everything. So that is Team Vanquish. We will be going through a lot of the other modes as well. So don't you worry, we'll be covering the Turf Takeover, the Gnome Bomb, the Suburbanation. We're doing it all. And we're going to be trying out all the maps, too. Because Boney Island is just one. There are so many different fields of battle you'll have to get used to. But until then, I hope you have a good day. Consider liking and subscribing and showing the video off to all your friends in case they're also PvZ fans. And yeah, I'll see you next time.